We do have lives. And with Leader 1031, I started with this company back in February. We're wholly bank owned. So wholly bank owned, there's a lot of stringent things that are put on the bank that we also have to follow. It's different than some other exchange companies you may have to consider. But the real reason why I do what I do, this is a photo we had for our Christmas card in the middle there. And my wife, who passed away in 2018 of breast cancer, which we still feel that loss greatly. My granddaughter, 8 years old, daughter, son. This is really the reason why I do what I do. You know, I'm the account executive here, and if you don't know what 1031s, we're called a number of things. QIs, exchange accommodators, trade specialists. There are a number of acronyms that we use for us. But we ultimately consult with owners, investors, to talk to them about what is their challenge, what they would like to accomplish when they're selling appreciated properties. Some liken it to rocket science. No, it's not rocket science. It's very simple. However, there are stringent rules that the government does place, and you need to have someone who is able to articulate those type of rules to lay people so that they don't find themselves in the purview of the government saying that they're going to have to pay taxes on it. So what is a 1031 exchange? That's when an investor sells an investment property followed by the purchase of a replacement property. You have to have a qualified intermediary involved because the investor can't be in constructive receipt of those funds, because once they receive the funds after escrow is closed, they remove their opportunity to do a 1031 exchange. So it's very important, if they're thinking about it, to engage in a qualified intermediary or somebody to talk to about their options. And when they're in escrow, make sure that they definitely have someone in line. And there are several types of exchanges. There's a delayed exchange, which most people use, which is when you sell your property first and then you buy a replacement property. There's a simultaneous exchange, which I don't get paid as much for. However, you do escrow to escrow. They know they're going to buy a replacement property. It's already in contract. It's already set to close. Timing is everything. So we want to make sure that it's all set there. There's a number of reasons to exchange. You want to consolidate, you want to expand, you want to bring in your property, you want to move your property or investment property somewhere that you are living now. And the big reason why, you don't want to pay the capital gain tax. And there's a lot of capital gain tax depending on how much your appreciation is. If you buy a property for $100,000, you sell it for $1 million, which is very easy in this area. You have $900,000 capital gain. The government is going to want approximately 30% of your good decision. So if you want to stay in the game, it's good to be engaged with a 1031 exchange specialist. This is a time frame. There are all kind of rules. You have 45 days to identify a property, 180 days to close escrow on that replacement property. If you don't know anything, you know this, because it can be very detrimental to your whole game there. So obviously, like I said, your relinquished property is sold, $900,000, replacement property is purchased. You have to buy equal or greater in value to be fully tax deferred. You have the cost of sale, which reduces what you actually have to go out and buy, which is great if you want to buy down a little bit. And the net equity, all the proceeds have to be put back into the exchange in order to be fully tax deferred. There could be some boot. You can take some money out. As long as you don't take significantly out of the capital gain, the government will recognize it and you'll just pay tax on the amount you take out. So if you want to pay some bills off, sold your house for more, you can do that. Again, the equation is to be fully tax deferred, you have to buy equal or greater in value, equity, and debt, which is debt. Or you can bring in cash to offset that debt, and you have to reinvest all the proceeds and acquire a property the same way you sell the property. So same taxpayer requirement. The entity or the taxpayer that sells has to be the entity and taxpayer that buys. And that is, it all goes back to who is paying the tax, right? So key point to remember as we're going through this is once you're in contract to sell your property, it's good to engage and hire a qualified intermediary to hold those funds until you buy the replacement property. Because I said, if you take possession of those funds, it eliminates your ability to do a 1031 exchange and you have to pay the taxes at the end of the year, right?